Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. We have a special guest again today. Welcome, Greg.
Hello.
So, tonight at dinner, we were talking about the anniversary is coming up. How many years?
50 years.
50 years since the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
November 10th of 1975.
That is soon. And Greg and I are both originally from the great state of Michigan.
Michiganders.
Michiganders. And so we might have a little more just knowledge of it than some people, I suppose. I made a video in the past where I went into depth about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. I'm not exactly sure how great the volume was on that. It was sort of when I had this set up in our bedroom and different mics, I think. I don't remember. But I thought, oh, what the heck? Let's kind of do it again. And I found this like collectible tray that has a picture of the Fitz. That's what we call him, the Fitz. And here's the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I was just looking at this, and I'm thinking, this is not from the 1970s. I think this is from when the Fitzgerald was brand new, probably when it was christened in 1950s. Because look at the clothes they're wearing.
It was made in 1958.
Oh, I thought it was earlier than that. But don't you think, like, look, they're wearing like little, I don't know, this looks very 1950s to me.
It was
but anyway.
built and launched, well, it was launched in 1958.
Oh, okay.
Still old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is what it looked like, if you were wondering. The tray's kind of beat up, but it's...
Do you remember sort of the first time you became aware of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, like as a kid or?
No. Mm-mm. I feel like I've always known about it. I don't know.
I feel like I've always known about it too, but growing up in Michigan, the Great Lakes. But I guess the song, obviously the song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald by Gordon Lightfoot, made the wreck popular. So I probably heard the song.
Yeah. I just don't remember ever not knowing about it. Well, what year did the song? Oh, we know what year the song came out. 70.
Song came out in 1976.
Oh, 76. So we're going.
He wrote the song pretty soon after the wreck.
That's right. Yeah.
I'll tell you a little interesting fact.
Okay.
There's estimated to be anywhere between 6,000 and 10,000 shipwrecks in the Great Lakes.
I know. I during that other video I made, I looked that up just to try to figure it out. And in Lake Superior alone, there's like you said, hundreds and hundreds. But I mentioned in that video how we had been up to Georgian Bay, and we went on that glass bottom boat ride where you could look over the edge and see all these shipwrecks that some of them they had moved to those locations. Remember, so that they could, but it was interesting.
That's a lot of shipwrecks, thousands of shipwrecks. But obviously, the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald is one of the most well-known, if not the most well-known shipwreck of the Great Lakes. Interesting.
But I think it's also might be well-known. Yes, the Gordon Lightfoot song, obviously.
The song, obviously.
But also, I think it was the most people who died in a like shipwreck on a lake.
Really?
Maybe. I think. Oh shoot. I may have to look that up. I think so.
I don't know about that. But you could be right.
I feel like that might be right, but I can't.
I don't remember reading that. But
all right.
But obviously, he made the song famous.
I'll look it up and try to put it somewhere in the notes if I figure it out. Okay, So the Edmund Fitzgerald, first of all, I just wanted, one of the reasons that I made the video the first time, Greg, is because I was out with Kathy and all of them, and they thought the wreck had happened in like the 1800s, like that it's an ancient shipwreck. And I was like, huh, interesting. And I get that because the song's kind of shanty, sounds like old-timey. And I guess it is old-timey to young people, but...
The song, you mean?
Well, I mean, just it sounds like a story of old. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what makes a song sound old-timey is it's like sort of an Irish dirge.
No, it's a shanty song. It's like a...
It's a dirge. It is, yeah.
Right? Dirge? Sure.
Sort of, a dirge is a solemn song that sort of, it is. But that's what gives it, gives it an old-timey feel.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well...
Did I mess up your train of thought?
No. You can talk all you want. Well, do you want to hear about the actual thing? Do you know all the stuff? You probably do, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
I do not know everything.
Well, it's in the song, honestly. All of it is.
Well, there's more than what's in the song.
Well, okay. So in the song, they talk about it. It says, one of the first lines is, the legend lives on from the Chippewa down. Well, the Chippewas, we know because it's very known in Michigan, is the Native American tribes that were up in this area.
In the Lake Superior area,
yeah,
right?
And all up. I think they're up in Canada and here.
Yeah.
But they called the Lake Superior Lake Gitchagumi. So he says that in here. But they were leaving from Superior, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
That's one of the...
Which is it?
I forget exactly where the ship left, but that's one of the minor inaccuracies in the song, I think. He says something about they left some mills in Wisconsin that I think that might be...
Superior. Well, it was the steel mills.
Iron ore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in that area, right? Yes. It was.
Well, they were leaving from Superior. That is, I think, true.
Okay.
Whether that's not in the song. That's where they left from. They were heading, hold on. They were heading up here and around here, coming down this way through the Sioux Canal, Sault Ste. Marie, coming down through Huron, down here, around Detroit, and then they were going to go all the way over to Cleveland.
Now, can I pause you there for a second?
Sure.
When the wreck happened in November of 1975, it made big news. It was in newspapers, and it was a big news at the time.
I had a newspaper from that.
Yes.
I should look that up.
And so Gordon Lightfoot, he read an article. He read several articles, but one of the articles he read was from a Newsweek magazine about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And the name of the article was called "The Cruelest Month." Mm-hmm. And that came out November 24th of 1975. So he read that and read some other articles, and he was inspired to write the song. Now, this had just happened, that month. So they didn't have all the facts.
Right.
And so when he was writing the song, he did kind of lament it a bit about some of the facts. Getting everything, he was worried about getting everything correct in the facts. And his guitar player said, just do what Mark Twain did. Just tell a story. Mm-hmm. So he just tells a story. And I'm telling you, the song is like 98% correct. Mm-hmm. But one thing that's inaccurate is the ship was not headed for Cleveland.
I think it was.
It was headed for Detroit.
No, it was going to stop in Detroit and then go on to Cleveland.
Nope, it was headed for Detroit. I looked it up.
I looked it up.
I'm telling you, it was headed for Detroit.
I think it was going to stop in Detroit and then move on to Cleveland.
No.
All right,
I double checked.
Maybe I've been Gordon Lightfooted.
Well, maybe Cleveland just sounded better when you sing it than saying Detroit.
You could say Detroit.
But he does say Detroit later in the song. So anyway, that is just one of the. There's only like, I would say there's like 2, maybe 3, 4 things that are slightly inaccurate, and that was one of them.
All right. Fair.
Okay.
Okay, so they leave from Superior, and when they left, it's a beautiful day.
Yes.
It's a beautiful November day. They are leaving, and there are actually, like, I think 2 other ships left that same day. One was the Arthur Anderson, and the other was like a smaller ship.
Right, the Arthur Anderson.
And the Arthur Anderson and the Fitzgerald kind of were going like with each other, going the same way. And the smaller ship was sort of up here hugging the coastline a little more because they were concerned about the weather coming in.
There were actually, I think, several ships out.
Okay, yeah, but
there, but you're right. You're right about the Fitzgerald kind of went in tandem with the Anderson because they had a lot of communication between those 2 ships, right?
And the Fitzgerald, the captain, was McSorley, and he, as they say in the song, was well seasoned. He had actually been sailing since, I want to say, the 30s.
He'd been sailing for a long time, right?
Yeah.
But he was, I believe, the 4th captain of the Fitzgerald.
But he had been her captain for a while, right? I don't remember.
Because I see, ship sank in 75. I think he became the captain. I mean, it might have been like the early, like early 70s or late 60s. But because he was like the 4th captain they had. But you're right. He'd been the captain of the Fitzgerald for a few years.
I just remembered something when you were thinking of that. Okay, one of the things that kind of maybe led to its downfall a little bit is that he and the other captains had sailed her, and she was rated for a certain amount of weight. But they kept kind of sneaking on a little more weight. And then she'd make it. And so they're like, great, she can do that. And then they'd re-rate it. And it had been re-rated many times over the years, since the 50s to 70s. And so she was carrying a very heavy load. And the load that she would carry was, like we said, from the mills, the iron ore. And what I heard is that the iron ore, they'd put it into these little balls, because that way you can easily scoop it into the ship, I guess. It made it easier to maneuver, to have it in these balls. So the whole bottom, the ship is like...
So I know it's iron ore pellets.
Right.
And they're like little balls. They're like the size of marbles. Now, they mine them. I always wondered exactly how they...
It's a ship.
I always wondered, how did they mine iron ore pellets? You telling me that they actually formed them into little balls?
Yeah, they heat it up, and that's how you create iron ore, right? I don't know. This isn't an iron ore podcast. Is that our sister podcast, Iron Ore? Iron Ore?
I don't know. I didn't look that up. But
I don't.
Anyway, they would take the iron ore pellets down to places like Detroit and Toledo and turn it into steel. And they make cars and all kinds of stuff. But it was used for steel.
Is that what iron ore is used for? I don't even know.
Yep, making steel.
All right, so it's got all these little pellets.
Making steel.
So picture that. The whole base of the thing's filled with pellets, right?
The whole ship. And you're right that the Coast Guard kept approving, or whatever you said, for more and more weight.
Yeah.
I don't think the ship was not carrying more than it was designed for. From what I read, it was designed to carry a certain amount of weight. And of course, the more weight
they re-rated it, though.
The more weight you put in it, the deeper the draft is. So the lower the ship sits in the water. And it was designed to carry a certain amount of weight. And when the first few times they sailed it, they were worried about the ship being too deep in wherever it was the harbor it was ported, so they didn't put in as much as they could. So the first couple loads, they didn't put in as much. But it was just the Coast Guard had rated it for a certain amount of weight. But you're correct that they did up the weight. But there's never anything about like saying, oh, they overloaded this ship.
Okay.
Nothing like that.
Well, they had 26 tons, I believe, right?
Right.
Of ore.
It was fully loaded.
Fully loaded.
But there's nothing like saying, oh, they overloaded the ship, that's why it sank. No.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just going to, this will
Right.
come into play later, I think.
Yes.
The fact that there's all these little balls of ore. So they do have a forecast that there will be a storm. And that is why that third ship I mentioned, they decided to kind of go up this way more and hug the coast. But McSorley of the Fitzgerald and the Arthur Anderson, they've been through these rough waters before. And they are basically pretty confident that this will not be a problem for them.
When you're talking about hugging the coast, I think
Oh, they're down there?
hugging the coast here, they don't go to the way to the north shore because that Lake Superior is huge.
Oh, yeah.
You'd have to go way up here to the top of Lake Superior. That's huge. So it's hugging the shore on the south.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, go ahead.
My recollection was that I looked at a map and it was up here, but maybe you're right. I don't know, whatever. So they're just a little further away. I don't even remember why that's important, to be honest. I know in the first video I mentioned that, but I don't
Right.
remember exactly what the story was anymore. But anyway, okay, so they're coming here this way, right? And what they're trying to do is before this storm gets really bad, they want to get into this Whitefish Bay. Because once you're in Whitefish Bay, it's calmer because it's just not, you're not out in this huge lake.
Right. This is Whitefish Bay.
So this is the entrance
This
to
is
it.
Whitefish Point. They're trying to make Whitefish Point because the weather comes in from the west.
Well, no, what's weird, that's what's weird, is normally these storms come in from the north this way. And that's what they're usually prepared for. But this storm came in this way.
Right.
And because of that, the way the ship was facing, trying to get into Whitefish, it hit, the winds and the waves were hitting the side of this ship. And they think that might be what pushed the water up and it started to take on some water, I believe. Do you think that's right?
Well,
Does that agree with
there
you?
are 2 or 3 different theories
Okay.
about how it sank.
Yeah.
And to this day, they still don't really know. They do know this. The ship broke in 2, and it's in 2 pieces.
Okay. Yeah.
And the front part, the bow, is sitting upright. And then right behind it, I think like 170 feet away, the stern is upside down. Now, the ship is, it's 729 feet long was the ship. But the water in which it sank in was about 500 feet.
Oh, right. Yeah. I forgot about that. I think we said that on the other one. That's kind of crazy.
So in some of the communications that the Fitzgerald had with the Anderson, is the captain had radioed and said that part of his railing had come down on the side of the ship. And he was missing 2 vent covers, not hatch covers. I'm talking about vent covers. And what the vent covers do is when they're loading the ship with iron ore, you have to have places for the air to go out. So on the sides of the ship, on the deck, they have these vents, and there's these vent covers. So he was missing 2 vent covers. Now, there's speculation on how is this possible that the railing is bent over and he's missing 2 vent covers. One theory is that perhaps there was some debris in the water and a big wave came and the debris hit the side of the boat
Yeah.
and knocked over the railing and knocked over these vent covers. So once these vent covers were off, every time a wave came over, water was going into the ship.
And some people think enough water came in that the ship started to list.
It did start to list.
And once it started to list, these little balls rolled. They rolled in a way that put a bunch of weight on one side or the other of the ship.
Right.
And that's what made it take on water.
The captain, he radioed the Anderson and said that they were listing.
Yes, he said that.
So they were listing, so they were taking on some water, but they had their pump.
He actually said we're taking on water and listing. So
Well,
it was pretty clear, I think.
Yes, and also they have pumps. So
Right.
normally these ships do take on water for various reasons, but they have pumps. And this ship had, I think, a total of like 6 pumps.
Mm-hmm.
It had 2 pumps of one type and 4 pumps of a different type.
Mm-hmm.
And when he radioed the Anderson, he says, "We've got both pumps going." Meaning, it's speculated that he meant both types of pipes.
Of pumps.
So they got all 6 pumps just going.
Yeah, going.
But the water's coming in faster than the pumps can get out.
Right.
So now we've got this ship that's listing.
All right, so it's starting to list. He's called the Anderson. Well, the Anderson, I think the Anderson's, I don't remember now exactly how far behind he is, but he is within range that he can see the lights of the Fitzgerald.
They vary, the distance varies from like 17 miles.
No. They were 70 miles outside of Whitefish Bay.
Actually, well, the Anderson was behind the Fitzgerald by some mileage. I think.
No, 17 miles, you wouldn't even see that thing.
Yeah.
I think it was like a couple of miles.
No.
Well, when they sank,
It was.
they were 17 miles out of Whitefish. That's how far they were.
Actually, you're right. It sank 17 miles off of Whitefish Point.
I know that's where you're getting that from, but I don't think they were 17 miles away from the Anderson.
They were actually, I want to say like, they were not like 2 miles apart. No, they were like 7 miles apart and 10 miles apart. One thing that they did was when the Fitzgerald was kind of, felt like they were getting into trouble, he radioed the Anderson and he says, can you keep an eye on us? And so the Fitzgerald actually slowed down a little bit to try to get the Anderson to catch up. And the Anderson was sort of kind of cutting, if the Fitzgerald was turning, the Anderson would kind of cut corners to catch up. Yeah. But I think it was like maybe 7 miles or 10 miles. It was not a couple miles.
But then I forget what happened, whether the storm just got real foggy or if the waves picked up. But for some reason, they would the Anderson would lose track of the lights for a minute, and then they'd be able to see them again. But then they saw their lights, and then it was like 10 minutes where it was I think it was fog, maybe. It was so foggy they couldn't see. And when that lifted, it was just blackness. And they kept going towards where it should be, and it was just gone. And it sunk completely within 10 minutes.
Well, let's talk about this storm. This storm, the Great Lakes, and specifically Lake Superior, is known for these storms, especially in November.
What did we call it, Greg?
The Witch of November.
The Witch of November.
And, so it's sort of known that these late season storms pop up. And this particular storm, they estimated that the wind speeds were like up to like 80 to 90 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's going to create some waves.
Hurricane force winds are 74 miles an hour or so.
Right. Yeah.
And the waves were like 25, 30 feet.
Yeah.
So
I think people who have never been to the Great Lakes might not have an idea, a sense of, on a regular day, the Great Lakes can have waves that look like ocean waves, like really, really big waves and really strong undercurrents on the shorelines. These are giant lakes. They're not, they're huge. So when they talk about a hurricane-like wind, that's for real.
Lake Superior is like a mini ocean.
Yeah.
So I think in the sinking of this ship, we do have to talk about the hatches, because that's the controversy.
Well, it's also something that's a little more. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Talk about the hatches.
Well, where's your little drawing of your
ship? I wrote on the back of the lyrics, and now I can't see the lyrics.
Well, on the deck of this ship, they have all these hatches.
What do you mean? Show me. Draw this for me. I've never quite understood that.
Well, draw it from the top. Like here's.
I know that at first people were saying like maybe the crew forgot to batten the hatches, and the families were like, "That's not true. They wouldn't do that."
Here's the front of the ship where the captain is, the bow.
Okay.
This is the ship, and this is the stern.
Yep.
They have these hatches, lots of them. I forget how many, 20, over 20 of these hatches.
Oh, okay.
They're big. And they take these hatches off and they pull into a dock, and train cars come along on the side, and they have these chutes, and they just pour, and they just load this thing full of iron ore.
Okay.
So
Let's see if we can see them. Oh, look, there they are.
Right. So when you put these hatches on, they have these latches, like a lot of latches all the way around.
Sure.
And it's time consuming to latch them all. So there was speculation that the crew got kind of lazy and they didn't feel like latching all these latches, so they left some of them off. Well, that's not true.
Right.
Where that story came from is the Coast Guard, after the sinking, they had some robotic submarines that went down there and took photographs. And they saw some of these latch covers, like the two front latch covers, were just torn off, just missing. So they're like, well, the latch covers were missing and damaged, and they thought, well, maybe they weren't battened down good enough, and the crew didn't batten them down, and they kind of came loose and water poured in. So that's where that speculation came from. And in the Gordon Lightfoot song, he does mention, it's one line, he says, at 7 p.m. the main hatchway gave in. That's the line of the song that the families later on were like, you're sort of implying that it's the crew's fault.
Right.
So he never wanted to officially change the original lyrics, but when he started singing the song live, he would change that lyric.
Right. And one thing I was thinking that I mentioned in the last video, so I must have looked it up, that there was a thought, there's like a harbor or something here that's like more shallow, and there was a thought that maybe the ship tried to kind of hide in that harbor and it could have hit ground there, but that seems like probably not very likely. I don't know.
I know that story.
Oh, do you know better than I'm saying right now?
It's not a harbor. It's a shoal.
Yes,
it's a shoal, which is it's an underground shoal, which is not very deep. Right. And so the thought was perhaps the Fitzgerald, he did get kind of close to this shoal.
Right.
And they thought that maybe that the bottom of the ship had hit the shoal.
Yeah.
And had damaged it, and it brought on water, like the Titanic hitting an iceberg.
Yeah.
But what some later expeditions went to that shoal, and they tried to look for like scrape marks and paint, and look for any signs that is it possible that the ship hit this, and they didn't find anything. Right. So that's just a theory.
But you were saying that the ship is broken in half, and that's true. It's sitting on the bottom. They've dived. They've done dives to it. Now it's a I forget what they call it, like a Maritime Memorial Cemetery or something, so you can't dive on it anymore.
Right. It's in Canadian waters.
Yeah.
And the Canadian government says there's no diving out there. It's a burial site.
But they did take a few dives on it, and they do know that it's broken up, and they don't know if it broke when it hit the bottom, or if when this iron started to move it broke, or how that. But looking at the pictures, being a maritime expert that I'm not, it seems like they would be further apart. It looks like it fell and just broke to me, but I don't know.
if you think about a
That's
ship,
a lot of weight. I guess it could.
you think about a ship that's 700 feet long, and the water's only 500 feet deep. So the water's not even as deep as the ship is long.
Right. So it could have hit.
So one of the theories is it got overcome by waves, and the ship went down. The bow hit the bottom and caused the ship to crack in half, and the stern flipped upside down next to it. That's one theory.
It's upside down, is it?
The stern is upside down.
Ah, okay.
The other theory is that it broke apart on the surface of the water.
Right. And this.
And one of the biggest theories is the Arthur Anderson had reported these rogue waves.
Yes, that's
three
right.
rogue waves,
That's right.
and they
That's
called
right, I
them
forgot
they
that.
called
Yeah,
them
that's
the three sisters.
Mhm.
The three sisters.
Yep.
The three sisters were these three rogue waves. Now, a rogue wave is a wave that's at least twice as tall as the other waves around it. And so the Anderson got hit by a wave, and then a second wave hit it, and then a third one. So there were three in a row.
That's right.
And it was heading in the direction of the Fitzgerald. So kind of the thought is that it's possible that these three waves went and hit the Fitzgerald.
That was the reason why they lost sight of the lights, because those waves went up high enough they couldn't see the lights.
Right.
That was what it was. It wasn't fog. And once those waves, they just never saw them again.
Well, so when you think about these waves, when you already have a ship that's fully loaded and listing, and you have a rogue wave come over the top of the ship, okay?
Yeah.
And the second one comes before the water is even able to clear off the deck. You have a second wave come. And then before the second one can clear off, the third one comes. So now you have so much water and so much weight on the deck of the ship that it just stressed it out, and it just snapped in half.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll never really know. We'll never know. But when they did the dives, one of the dives, but first of all, let's just say 29, everybody died. Nobody made it out of this alive. 29 men died. But when they did the dive, they decided to pull up the bell from the ship.
Right. It was one of the dives, I think in the 1990s, was it?
I think so. And some people didn't want that, and some people did, like as far as family goes. But they did pull it up. And there's a video of when they pull it out of the water, and it starts to ring, and it's very sentimental.
Right.
But then they put that bell in the museum right here. The I can't read it. What does it say? But it's like the Maritime Museum that's there in Whitefish
Point, right? That's where the bell is, right?
That you can go there and see that, because the Fitz is like right out here somewhere, I think. 17 miles
17
out.
miles off.
And then in this song, he talks about in a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral. Well, that is... Actually, I don't know. I couldn't find it last time.
Detroit.
But it's right... I think it's right here in Detroit somewhere. And I don't know why. I've never been there. You'd think we'd go there sometime.
You think? That's another one of the lyrics that Gordon Lightfoot changed.
Oh, he did? Why?
The line is... a musty old hall.
Oh, because it's not a musty.
What's the line?
In a musty old hall in Detroit, they prayed in the Maritime Sailors Cathedral.
There's nothing musty about the hall. It's like this really beautiful, bright place. So he changed the line to rustic.
Oh, okay.
Rustic old hall.
Fair enough. All right. Well, when I said this in the last video, on the year that Gordon Lightfoot died, every anniversary, they chimed the bell there 29 times for each of the souls lost. But the year that Gordon Lightfoot died, they did 30 for him too. So the families really appreciated that he kept their memories going.
You want to know what I just read?
Yes.
They now ring the bell 31 times.
What? Why?
29 times for each sailor lost on the Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
Once for all other sailors. And then one for Gordon Lightfoot.
Okay. That's nice.
Here's an interesting little fact about this. Before the Edmund Fitzgerald sank, in the Great Lakes, there was about one big ship, one freighter, one big ship sank on average about every 10 years.
And?
After the Fitzgerald sank.
Yeah.
Since, there's been none.
What?
No major.
So are they just
No
not
major-
taking as bigger risks?
Well, there's a couple of things with that. One was the culture. Back then, you know, you had this culture of sailors, like this captain of the Fitzgerald. He sailed through a lot of
Yeah.
bad weather. A lot of these sailors did. It's like
Probably a lot of them had been in the wars and stuff, so they're like, this is just commercial.
once you've sailed
Yeah,
your boat
sure.
through a couple of storms, you're like, oh man, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so the culture of sailors is like, you know, we've done it before, we'll do it again. And we got to get that iron ore to its destination.
Right.
After the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, the culture sort of changed. It's like now it's like, you know, if the weather's not as good, you know, you can hold off a day. But there's other reasons why there hasn't been a major shipwreck. There's been so many advances in, first off, shipbuilding technology. Ships are built more robust.
Yeah.
Communications are better. Navigation is better. Weather, they have real-time weather.
Oh, sure, yeah.
So all these things contribute to more safety.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened with the Fitzgerald, when he reported that he was, you know, listing and all that, his radars went out.
Right.
So he had no radar.
Oh my gosh.
So he was asking the Anderson to sort of help him, like,
Oh, like have an idea where you
well, the Anderson would look on their radar and say, okay, here's where you are. And they would say, okay, here's where you are. Here's where Whitefish Point is.
Yeah.
You need to go at a heading of whatever degrees. And so their radar had gone out, so they were helping him with that.
Yeah.
So they were really just sailing blind. And Whitefish Point has like one of the oldest lighthouses, I think.
Here.
Yeah, it's a huge lighthouse there, and it had a radio beacon as well.
Right.
But on that night, the radio beacon wasn't working. But you could still see it.
Right.
And I think the lighthouse, I think I read you can see the lighthouse up to like 28 miles away. So they were looking for that lighthouse.
Well, pretty tragic.
It is.
You got anything else on the subject?
Oh, I do. Do you know where the Edmund Fitzgerald was built?
Well, I remember that it was named after the president or CEO of an insurance company. His name was Edmund Fitzgerald.
That's correct. That's right.
But I don't know where it was built. Probably England. I don't know. What is that? I'm just being...
No.
No. Why are you laughing? It could
England.
How dare you? It could come this way and go through there.
Nah.
Come down here this way.
It's not the Queen Elizabeth. It's a Great Lakes freighter.
I do know this. Hold on. I don't know.
It was built in River Rouge, Michigan.
Oh, okay. I thought it was going to be some more dramatic.
Well, we know where River Rouge is.
Yeah,
I mean,
we do.
that's just south of Detroit.
Born and raised in South Detroit.
So, the song, the Edmund Fitzgerald song was, there was another song that came out afterwards, by Bobby Sands. And the name of the song was Back Home in Derby.
Okay.
The song uses the same melody. I mean, the exact same melody as the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. And Gordon Lightfoot was asked, well, why don't you sue him for copyright infringement? And Gordon Lightfoot's like, he's basically like, I took the it's like an old Irish.
That's what I said to you. It's an old shanty song.
It's like he said it was like an old Irish.
That's what an old shanty song is. They're Irish sailing songs.
And also an Irish dirge.
It's not. It's a dun, 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 dun.
You know what a dirge is?
Yes, I know what a dirge is.
What's a dirge?
Do you hear a mansplaining?
I'm not mansplaining. I'll tell you what mansplaining is. Wait,
It's his dad joke. Forgive him.
where was I going with this?
Oh, you were
Oh, okay,
saying.
I know. So they asked him, they said, why don't you sue for copyright infringement? And he said, it's like an old Irish song. It's like an old Irish medley.
Melody.
Right. And it's like I got it from somewhere else. And folk music is just it's for the people and it meant to be enjoyed.
Sure.
I'm not going to sue somebody for copyright infringement. So anyway, that's that little tidbit.
Do you want to talk about how you saw Gordon Lightfoot in concert?
Oh, I did see Gordon Lightfoot play live.
I didn't go because I wasn't as into Gordon Lightfoot. I skipped it.
This was in the mid-90s
Yeah.
in Phoenix, Arizona.
Didn't you go to Gamage?
Gamage Auditorium.
Which was, by the way, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
That is right. Signed by Frank
Interesting.
Lloyd Wright. Yep. Gamage Auditorium at Arizona State University.
Yeah.
And I went to see him play live there. And I'll tell you, what was interesting is his voice, his singing voice, sounds exactly like his albums.
That's cool.
I mean, he's got a great voice, and there's no effects on his voice. He's just sounding exactly like his records.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, speaking of songs and his records, so he records the song very soon after the wreck.
The wreck, yeah.
And it came out, and the song came out in 1976 on an album.
Right, so he must have, yeah.
But then when he released a compilation album of a lot of his songs in 1988, Gord's Gold, I guess it was Volume 1, Volume 2, but on Gord's Gold, Volume 2, he re-recorded the Edmund Fitzgerald. Same lyrics. It sounds almost the same, but he never really ever said why he re-recorded it. But for obvious reasons, is that they recorded a lot of newer songs, and they wanted all the songs to kind of sound the same. And
So it's got more of an 80s sound to it.
Yeah, they all sound sort of similar.
Does it have an electronic drum track?
No. If you listen to both versions, the songs are very similar. I prefer the original 1976 version.
Yeah, I've heard them both. I prefer the original too. It's just easier to understand the lyrics.
I think his singing, the lyrics are a little more clearer. In the 1988 version, there's a little more reverb and echo on his voice. And it's still good, but I like the original better.
Yeah. Yep. I'm surprised somebody's made a movie version of it.
Oh, here's something else about the Fitzgerald that's interesting.
Okay.
They had passengers.
You know what? I think I talked about that in the other video.
Yes.
It was the guy from the insurance company, wasn't it?
Well, it was multiple passengers.
They had real quick. They had a room that was like not the captain's room, but like 4 executives to ride on that. And so a lot of different, I think they were the insurance company, or maybe it was the iron company. But anyway, executives would just take rides back and forth for pleasure.
And their wives.
And yes.
Sometimes the captain's wives, sometimes the crew wives, but there was room for passengers. I think the front of the ship is probably where the obviously the captain's room is up
Right.
front in the bow and probably the crew, but in the stern of the ship, there was rooms for passengers, and they were nice rooms.
Yeah.
Like a cruise ship room.
Yeah.
And they had a fancy dining room. And so, yeah, there was, like we said, there was a lot of times people from the company, their wives, or they would just go for
fun.
For fun, right?
Because it
Now, obviously, there were no passengers on November 10th.
Well, I thought you just said there was.
On November 10th, 1975, when it sank,
Oh,
there were no passengers.
I thought you were saying there was.
No. I'm just saying that the ship was designed and built to carry passengers as well. There was room on the ship, passenger quarters,
Right.
with a nice little dining room.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And so that was interesting.
You know, they have these river cruises that I want to go on in Europe, and they're like their regular mail carrier ships and ferries, but you can book a nice room on there and stay for a week. I forget what it's called. Anyway, gonna work on that. Greg's deep in thought. He does this sometimes. He gets quiet when he's
Well,
Do you have anything else to report?
no, other than if it hadn't been for the Gordon Lightfoot song, nobody would be talking about the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Probably.
Although, in the Great Lakes at the time, when the ship was, it was well known in the region. Like when it would go through the Sault Ste. Marie locks, which the locks connect Lake Superior to Lake Huron.
Mm-hmm. Right here.
They built the locks.
Right here.
Right. And when it would go through the locks, people would line the sides of the locks to look at it.
You know,
So
this could be what this is a picture of, now that I look at it more closely. That could be the locks. I'm starting to think it might be actually.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was a well-known ship at the time in the Here's another little interesting little fact. When the ship was christened and launched, the wife of the head of the company, I guess it was, oh, yeah, that's right, Edmund Fitzgerald. It was his wife. I forget her first name. Mabel. I don't know.
Sounds right.
Well, it took her 3 times to break the champagne bottle
Hey,
on the ship.
that's hard to do.
And you know what? That's kind of an omen.
Is it?
It's
Did that happen with the Titanic?
Probably.
It's hard to break a bottle on a boat, I think.
Yeah. But a lot of people turned out for the launch. So in the area, you know, in the Great Lakes region, in the Lake Superior, it was a well-known ship. But, you know, like I said, it would be a forgotten shipwreck if it wasn't for the song. Because, you know, like I said, there's an estimated 6,000 to 10,000 shipwrecks in the Great Lakes.
Oh, that's right. We got to look up if it was the most casualties, because I think it was.
Right.
Look it up.
Well,
All right. I think we've hit all the points. Can I quiz you real quick?
sure.
All right, let's see. Can you do it upside down?
Yeah.
Let's see if you know your Great Lakes.
Oh, I know my Great Lakes. Come on.
All right, what's this one over here?
Lake Ontario.
What's this one right here?
Lake Huron.
Is this a Great Lake?
That's a Georgian Bay.
What's this?
Lake Erie.
What's this one?
Lake Michigan.
What's this one?
Lake Superior.
Called the what?
Get your goon.
Correct. So,
and here's the Detroit River, and you can't really see it, but there's a lake here called Lake St. Clair.
right here.
Yeah, Lake St. Clair. And I used to go ice fishing there as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'd go out to St. Clair sometimes. We had our family reunion like right here, not that long ago. And we went to a beach on Lake Michigan, and the waves I had forgotten because it had been so many years. They were huge, like ocean waves. It was wild.
Another thing
They
about
get a bad undercurrent there. People die there.
yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
if you go swimming up in Lake Superior or
Oh, yeah.
in the Georgian Bay,
If you go swimming.
I'm telling you, folks, the water is ice cold,
Ice cold.
year round.
It's so cold.
You go there in the middle of August,
Yeah.
and it's jumping in an ice bath.
Yeah.
It never warms up.
Well, when we were at Georgian Bay, where were we? Right in here, Tobin.
It's the Bruce Peninsula that comes up here, and then this is the Georgian Bay over here.
We
Yeah.
were like here, and we had a little cabin that we had rented on the water,
Right?
and Clark, one of our sons, and the other one who I haven't named yet because I haven't asked him, but we decided we were all going to do an ice plunge, like an ice water plunge, because it's
Polar
supposed to
bear
be
plunge.
good for your health or something.
Right.
And they got all the way in. Like Clark went underwater. I put my feet in, and it hurt. It was so painful just having my feet in. And I was dead set to do this. Like I really wanted. I could not do it. It was so. But we were there in May. I think we were in May, so it had just unfroze. No. It was
Have
crazy.
you talked about the Petoskey stones?
You know what? I have not. I should do an episode on that. I think I have some
Well,
somewhere.
Petoskey, Michigan. Where is Petoskey?
It's up, isn't it? Oh gosh, is it up here?
Well, somewhere there's Petoskey, Michigan, and the shoreline has these stones, and they're called Petoskey stones, and they're sort of oval and flat, and they're kind of different looking, and it's like the
Right
only.
here.
It's the only place in the whole world that has those stones. Petoskey stones.
Okay, we'll have to do an episode. I gotta go when I'm at Mom and Dad's house. I think I have some there. I'll have to get some and do that next time we're in Tennessee.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And then there's Traverse City has the Sleeping Bear Dunes, which are huge sand dunes. There are also some down here too.
For people who are not familiar with the state of Michigan, this is called the Lower Peninsula. This is called the Upper
You
Peninsula.
can't see it all here. This map doesn't show.
Upper Peninsula, which is part of the Upper Peninsula. And people who live up here, we call them Yoopers. Yoopers. Pretty close to Canada.
Pretty close to Canada, eh?
Yeah, but living in Detroit, I went over to Canada a lot.
We used to
Went over to Windsor.
leave Detroit and you'd go through the tunnel into Windsor. And when we were young, the drinking age in Michigan was 21. And in Canada, I think it was 16.
I think it was 19.
I think it was 16.
Well, we just
I don't know.
on
I
that.
was 16.
I'm
But I don't think they carded you very
16.
much.
Why did I make it 12? It was. I really do think it was 19.
I definitely went there in high school, for sure.
I went there on my 19th birthday.
Well, I'm
I think I
sorry that you didn't know that.
Well, we'll look up that too.
But the
When
cool
this is
thing-
over, we're going to go.
we're gonna go
This up.
to prove each other.
What's
But
that
the cool
Irish
thing-
dirge?
The cool thing about being in Windsor was that you'd sit there and you'd look out over Detroit, and Detroit looked beautiful. The lights and the water, it was so beautiful. And it didn't look that way in the 80s inside Detroit.
No.
But it's beautiful now. I think Detroit's making a real comeback.
Detroit looks beautiful from the Windsor side, right? Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, there's very few people who live in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
Well, I had a friend who did.
Yeah, I mean, people do live up
I
there,
think she lived in Escanaba.
but compared to the Lower Peninsula,
Well, yeah, but even all this section's.
I mean, most people live in the southern part of the Lower Peninsula.
This is where we went to school. No, sorry, here. Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo, I got a Kalamazoo.
You know there's a guitar manufacturer in Kalamazoo.
Well, there was Gibson.
They don't have a spot there anymore.
Well, that's where Gibson started, and Gibson was there until I don't know. forgetting now, the 70s, or I could be totally wrong with that.
Isn't there a guitar company also called Kalamazoo Guitars or something like that?
Yeah. As a matter of
there
fact, I think they may be in the old Gibson factory.
That's what I was going to say. That's not what I was going to say. I'm just saying that.
You know, Gibson, though, Gibson moved to Nashville.
Right, of course they did.
Yeah,
just like Jack White.
It might have been in the 80s. Might have been in the 80s when they moved.
Yeah. Well, all right. I think we've covered it. Somehow we've gotten off track.
It's a good song. Oh, one other couple other things.
Some people hate it, Greg.
Oh, well, let me say something about the song.
Okay.
What's interesting about the song is there's no choruses.
Mm.
There's no vocal intro or outros. There's no lyrical bridges, which is kind of different.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. A lot of people don't like the song. They just don't like the song.
No,
I mean, I like the song. It is what it is.
You know what I've realized about us?
Oh boy, what?
After our Bruce Springsteen, Nebraska thing that we loved and a lot of people really, really, really hated, we're very kind of, not you're more than I am, but sentimental. And so things that pull at our heartstrings, I think we tend to like.
Sentimental.
You're sentimental. You're very sentimental. But like a song like
I guess
this,
for certain things,
if you read these lyrics out loud, I bet you'd cry.
Oh, I just listened to the song and I get a little teary-eyed. It's a sad song.
You weep. Yeah.
It's a sad song.
But there are a lot of people who would listen to it and just go, that's stupid.
Oh, it's like this is painful to listen to this song.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm just saying we're sentimental like that, I think. Maybe.
I see.
All right.
Alrighty.
Well, that was fun. All right. I'll talk to you later. Let me
Bye.
just clean up my situation. I don't have my Windex because...
Yeah, I took the Windex. Oh, no, what is
got
this?
this thing of
Oh, look at that. What?
distilled water. That'll do. Oh, gosh. Did I use the wrong pen? I didn't use the Sharpie, did I?
Oh, it's coming off.
We need the Windex.
Would you use a permanent marker?
No, I didn't. I don't think.
Wow.
Because I can't remember this.
That's what you call elbow grease there.
Grease. That's all I need. So, a little bit of elbow grease. Oh my god. Alright, so in the description we'll put a link to the older version of the song, maybe. Not the 80s
The
version.
1975.
Yeah.
They're very similar. Very similar. Very similar.
Oh my goodness. Okay, that's pretty good.
I'm tired out just watching you do that.